This video is about sharing a Google Doc with someone else and how to work together within the document with communication. Up here in the right hand corner you'll see the share button, which indicates when you point at it who it is owned by right now and what's its sharing status. It's private only to me. Let's go ahead and click on that. That'll bring up the Share with Others tool. And you could type names or email addresses here and then indicate if they are to be allowed to use this. For example, I want to share this with Jeff Ellenbogen, and I want him to be able to comment. I can also add more people with this same status. I can also send a link to other people as well. If I don't know someone's email address at the moment I'm typing this, or it's not within my information right now, I could just get a link and send it to them. So I'm going to go ahead and click Get Shareable Link, and right now I can see that anyone at dawsonschool.org with the link can view. Now that's great if I'm sharing with other teachers, but if I want to share with students, or if I want to share across between teachers and students, this will not do. Students have a dawsonstudents.org domain that they work within, and therefore they will not be able to use this to share with teachers. So how do we solve this problem? Well, we can come to this arrow here that says what the current status is, and it indicates that I have different ways of setting status for people at dawsonschool.org. That's still not quite what I want. So I'll click More, and now I can make the decision. I can either send it just to to specific people, or I could send it to anyone with the link, and that's what I want to do. Anyone who I send this link to will be invited, not just to view, but perhaps to edit with me. And then I'll press Save. Anyone with the link can edit. So I can see right here it has captured what my intention is. I'm going to copy that link now. Notice that when I added Mr. Ellenbogen previously, he still has the same status. It's not affected by what I do with this link. So I have that shareable link right now. I just sent that off. Mr. Ellenbogen now has received that when he opens up his next email. It's time for me to work with that other person. Let's say that I send an email to someone else and I give them the link that I just created. That link will allow them to begin editing this with me, whereas Mr. Ellenbogen will get a separate email which allows him to comment on this. Let's worry now about how do I share authoring a document with someone else? How are we going to communicate if we're not in the same room? Well, one way to do it is if I have received that link and I've opened it up and I also have editing rights, I may choose to make comments about things. For example, this item, this list might be something that creates some questions. So I'm not sure why the author did this, possibly, and I want to make a comment to them. So I highlight the text, and right here is the Add Comment button. And the text stays highlighted, and you can see who is making the comment and go ahead and talk about it. I'll ask, shouldn't this be a bulleted list instead? And then post the comment now. Then later, when I, as the primary editor, read this, I can see the comments on the right, and I can say, yeah, I think that's a good idea. I'll take their suggestion, I will highlight it and change it to a different type. Oh, in this moment I can see that Mr. Ellenbogen has received my invitation, and now he is able to add comments here as well. So I'm going to go ahead and come back to my original comment to myself. Shouldn't this be a bulleted list? Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'm going to change it to a bulleted list now. Good suggestion. And I can see that when Mr. Ellenbogen is in the document, wherever he's pointing is also highlighted, and I can see who it is. So we can both be in the document at the same time. What is this for? So as you can see, comments can be about something, and you can exchange information, and when you're done you can say, alright, I feel like we've resolved this, and then by pressing resolve the comment disappears, and now we're back into normal mode. So the suggestion is taken. The other way that you can communicate with someone while you're inside a document, you can go ahead and switch your mode from your standard editing mode to suggesting mode. If I've been invited to help someone edit a document, I don't want to change everything, but I do want to show them what my thoughts are. So by switching into suggesting mode, I can go ahead and highlight something and say, in this area, I think this could be deleted. By highlighting this and pressing the delete key, instead of deleting it, it shows what was going on at the time. The suggestion is from Jim Piccolini, at this time, should we delete this item? And when Jim Piccolini makes that suggestion, we can also say, I think that this is unnecessary. And then press reply. Okay, then the other person editing the document could write back and say, oh, I think it's necessary because of this or that. Ultimately, these types of communications where a suggestion could be made, let's take this off of being bold. So suggestions can be made and they can either be accepted or not, and let's go ahead and resolve them. So the first suggestion, I'm, as the primary editor, click on it and I can see, oh, Jim Piccolini suggested that this is unnecessary. You know what? He's right. I'm going to accept the suggestion, and the text is removed. In the second area, Jim Piccolini suggested that this should be italic instead of bold. You know what? I'm going to reject that suggestion, and it returns to its previous format. So in this way, someone can invite you to contribute to their document. You can make your suggestions, and they can either accept them or reject them, and you have done your part.